Welcome, and welcome back to Brandler Bits. I'm Jeff Brandler. Today is the beginning of a multi-part series in which we're going to discuss anxiety and fear and what we can do about it. So let's get on with today's bit. Now, if you look around us day to day, week to week, month to month, there is a whole bunch of anxiety and fear in the world. Whether it's internationally, nationally, locally, there's lots of things that we are and can be pretty scared about. So much uncertainty. So many things that we can't possibly understand or figure out, and the implications of how this is all going to work out. What I've seen in my office is an increase of people with anxiety and fear. So let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety, like most feelings, we can examine as a 0 to 100 scale. Pretty simple. We all have anxiety. That's the best part. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. We need anxiety to perform. We need anxiety to survive. We need anxiety to be at our best. The problem is that when we have too much anxiety, we're not at our best. And in fact, we don't do a whole lot other than sit in our heads and our guts and say, oh, I'm pretty anxious. And so the best way to think about it is that let's look at a bathtub. You fill the bathtub, you fill it with water, it fills up, it fills up, it fills up. It's all good. When the bathtub overflows and goes all over your floor, into your kitchen, into your dining room, you have a heck of a mess. That's what happens when people's anxiety gets too high. It makes a heck of a mess. And then they rely on an assortment of techniques in order to make it better. Some better, some worse, some healthy, some unhealthy. I know lots of people that I've worked with over the years who have used quick fix Band-Aids in order to make their anxiety better. Addictive behaviors, for example, drinking, drugging, gambling, sex, relationships. Toss buying and shopping in that too. All great quick fix Band-Aids. They do what you want it to do. Your anxiety goes away, but you pay a price later. And then there's people who use healthy things, which is what we're going to talk about in this multi-part series. What can you do with the anxiety and fear that we have in the world that we live in today? So the other thing that we also have to think about is our anxiety, our fear is related to our thinking and our actions. That's our equation. Thinking is related to feeling plus action. Okay, here's the best part. We might not be able to change our feeling. We're going to be anxious because that's what we're supposed to be. It's part of what makes us who we are. So there are two things then that I can change. I can change my thinking and I can change my actions. It's pretty simple, right? So, one of the simplest ways is to change my thinking. So, one thing that you can do is say, what is the absolute worst thing that's going to happen here? 0 to 100. Then ask, what's the likelihood that that's going to happen? 0 to 100. If I'm a star performer on my job, I have great reviews, but I fear that I'm going to lose my job, I'd say, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm going to lose my job. What's the likelihood of that on a 0 to 100 scale? Probably not really high. So then it makes it easier to say, okay, next. It is that simple. Hard to execute when you're feeling anxious, but it is that simple. One other thing that we can do is we can also change the behaviors. That's changing the thinking. Now let's change the behaviors. So I can go back to my healthy alternatives. I can go and eat healthy. I can exercise. I can meditate. I can do some hypnosis. I can do lots of things to make my anxiety better. I can work on my breathing. I can do lots of things, healthy things, to make my anxiety better. And we can also do one other thing, which is a great combination of thinking and action. It comes from the 12-step groups. It's the Serenity Prayer. So it allows me to accept the things I cannot change, which, by the way, is most things, and gives me the courage to change the things that are changeable. So once I examine what's changeable, then I can do them. We have anxiety, we have fear, we have some healthy ways of handling, some unhealthy ways. Next time on Brandler Bits, part 2 of how we're going to deal with anxiety and fear. If you'd like to contact me, feel free to do so at my website, www.changeisimpossible.org. For Brandler Bits, I'm Jeff Brandler. See you again real soon.